Hello. G'day, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Cavill. Welcome to Lord Alador Gaming. Today, we are jumping into Stellar Blade. I have played the game in the past. I haven't finished it, though, but I did want to do a stream for it. So that's the mission for today. We are doing that. What else do I have to fill you in on? Okay, so you may have noticed some pretty big changes on the channel. I've gone through and made everything a bit more fancy. I have updated all the titles to everything, a whole bunch of thumbnails. I'm just trying to boost the channel's appearance and giving it a little bit of TLC. Now, I will say this, I am absolutely not experienced when it comes to video editing or graphic design or anything like that. I am learning. I am getting better at it, I hope. It should be pretty fun once I kind of figure out what I'm supposed to be doing with that. It's a learning experience, though, and I really enjoy learning new skills and developing basically to become a better streamer, getting more used to talking with the with you viewers and at the camera itself. As you probably noticed, I am slowly beginning to expand the scope of the gaming channel. We can now find my podcast, both audio and video versions. We also have a small series of shorts starting where I discuss my favorite books and that sort of thing. So we're just going to keep everything together for the time being, just for ease of access. Today I spoke about Matt Riley's Temple. It's one of my favorite books, has been for a long time. I really enjoy Matt Riley's style and his pacing, and it's just an action story in a single hit, which is terrific. As far as podcast news is concerned, the Bridge of Khazad-dûm episode did drop on last night. It covers Gandalf versus the Balrog and looks at it through the lens of Tolkien's Catholicism. It is a very, very interesting sort of topic, and it's something that I had a lot of fun writing and scripting and then presenting. The podcast will continue. I do realize that there are two different playlists for it on the channel. One is the RSS, which is connected to my Spotify and my Amazon music links. There will be a link in the description below if you want to find access to that. There's also a link to both my Instagram gaming account and my Instagram podcast account, Lord Alador's Lair, which is home to the Dragon's Lair, which is really quite cool. I am certainly looking forward to continuing expanding on that. The next podcast that I will be doing will be discussing Vegeta, the Prince of All Saiyans, and how he has probably one of the greatest redemptive arcs in fiction. You had a situation where Toriyama, the author, hated the character, but the fans loved it. And I'm going to explore his story through Dragon Ball Z and then his development as a character through Dragon Ball Super. So really looking forward to running up that and presenting that, and that should drop hopefully on Friday, maybe a little bit before. I'll see how I'm going for timing. So that brings us to the gameplay for today. We are going into Stellar Blade, a very controversial game for its art design in certain circles and commentary, which, makes it a very, very interesting game to play. The gameplay-wise, though, it's exactly the same as most action RPGs. You look at Nier Automata, which may be a title in the future for the channel. You've got that apocalyptic sort of aesthetic with a very pretty protagonist in a storyline where you're asking, where did humanity go? So I'm looking forward to jumping in on this. It's going to be a completely new game. I'm not going to be using any of my previous data. On the channel, you may have noticed that there is a small playlist of shorts where I fight against the different bosses. I did do a couple of them recently. The reason for that is I did want to just get a bit of practice in, remember how to play. It is very similar to Sekiro, which is the game that we just finished a playthrough for previously. So, without further ado, we are going to kick that off. So let's just get everything ready. Hopefully my audio is coming through nice and clearly. I am running the NVIDIA broadcast now. It should help erase all of the extraneous sound around me. It should be coming through nice and clearly. So with that, we are going to jump into Stellar Blade. As you can see here. And we will let this begin. So we're just going to select new game and jump in. We are just going to play normal mode. Yeah, we'll play normal mode. We won't play hard mode, just for the sake of enjoying the storyline and having a little bit of a challenging sort of gameplay. So, to everybody who's watching, sit back, relax, get yourself a snack, maybe something to drink, as we settle in to this initial sequence. The goal for today is to work our way through Eidos 7 and get to the boss Gygus at the very end. Now, I'm not sure how well we'll go as far as getting through the game to that point, because we did start a little bit later today, but we'll see how we go. So, let's jump in and watch the amazing cinematic that the game begins with.
Final briefing 送信。これより第7空挺部隊は第3地区を占拠しているアルファネイティブを駆逐せよ。最終目標はエルダーネイティブの捕獲または排除となる。間もなく大気圏に突入。目標到達まで残り1分。目標に到達。シールドを起動。ポット07531着陸完了。物理シールド解除。ハッチを開きます。開かない。お願い開いて。 よ捕まって。
Yep, it's a pretty spectacular opening cutscene. So as you can see, just reduce the audio of my headphones a little bit. As you can see, the game has a parry mechanic, and it's got a complete visceral sort of attack. So when you see the health bar for the enemy, there are some yellow dots underneath the health bar. Every time you do a successful parry, it eliminates one. And you can actually get a posture break, kind of like Sekiro, once you eliminate all of those. And you get a visceral attack as well. They call it a retribution attack. As you can see, and there is a pretty wide variety of retribution attacks available. And there are beta skills, so basically you fill an invisible bar and it gives you access to additional attacks. And this is what they call an elite Naytiba. As far as opening sequences go to a game, this is spectacular. It's engaging, it's visceral, it's gorgeous.
イーブ、しっかりしなさい。タキ、集中して。任務はまだ終わってないわ。私たちの手でやり遂げるしかないの。分かった？イーブ、いけるわね。
That's right, I don't have the double dodge yet. Ow. Ow. Heal up. Fun fact, in this game, even the bosses have susceptibility to being visceral attacked. Very similar to Bloodborne. And gorgeous cinematics.
アルファではなかったけど手強かったわね。よくやったわ。訓練より動けてた。だけどみんなを救えなかった。ボディフレームの損傷がひどいわ。物資キャンプを探さないと。待って、イブ。何か音がする。イブ！イブ、しっかりして。アルファネイティブ。私が相手よ。かかってきなさい。待て！イブ、逃げなさい。
Welcome to Stellar Blade.
静かな場所。
ああ、だが警戒は怠るな。アルファネイティブが潜んでる。よし、着いたぞ。俺はドローンでサポートする。
ここがエイドス7。
ああ、この地こそが人類最後の戦場。かつてメトロポリスとして栄えた町だ。
空から何か落ちてくる。不思議な感覚。これが地球の雨。
地球観光は後にしよう。今やるべきことがある。
So, we have now reached
この町の
EDOS
地
7.
形は日々変わる。
This is the first mission and first zone in the game. So this is where I'll have a bit of a chat about the origins of the game. It was made by Shift Up, a Korean publisher. It was fairly famous for being controversial due to the design of the protagonist. Fun fact though, the protagonist is actually based on a Korean model. So, much like Nier Automata, the game is set in an apocalyptic Earth, post-humanity, and if the opening sequence didn't make it clear, Eve is I wouldn't say an android or a cyborg. It's like an android with a skin suit, and I've totally forgotten what they're called. Kind of like the androids from Dragon Ball Z. So Eve has a mechanical interior surrounded by a meat suit, essentially. So this is a fast travel unlock station. We only have the one location though, and you do have to use the phone booths to trigger the fast travel areas. So as you can see, it is a wonderfully decrepit sort of zone. Just got to remember, because there's a bunch of hidden stuff that isn't very obvious when you first play through the game. So there's a doorway over here. If we go to it, it's going to prompt us for a code. We don't have the password yet, so the pilot of the ship over there, Adam, he is controlling this drone. So it allows us to scan the area for different items and find items like this. So as you can see, we've now found the code. The cool thing about it is if we open up the menu, we have a bunch of different options. We begin with a small selection of different attire based on the DLC packs that came with the game originally. That includes glasses and earrings. We also have gear. So gear slots are kind of like the rings that you'd find in Dark Souls or Bloodborne. Basically, they give you boosted attributes, like extra damage, attack speed, dodge, and that sort of thing. Exospines are the same thing. Basically, it's a full body sort of suit that gives you boosted attributes in different ways. we have a full manual, and we have a mission log. So if we go to the databank though, every single passkey that we receive can be found here, so you never lose anything. It's always really, really easily accessible, but one better is if you head over this way here. Now this is a genius move by Shifter. You don't have to remember the code at all. As you can see, if you hit the button that says hint, it comes up with that passcode, so you don't even have to really think about it too hard. It only lasts on screen for a few seconds, so let's keep an eye on it, but you can actually input the code while the hint is active. So what I'll draw your attention to initially is if you look to the right here, you can see a little bit of yellow paint. Now, it's kind of a joke in gaming circles since at least the early 2020s that developers started adding subtle visual cues to the environment, usually yellow paint. Like Resident Evil is very, very common when it comes to that sort of thing. What you've got is it's hinting that you can actually go that way. So we'll jump up there, and we'll grab the item that's over there, and then we'll head down the road. So as you can see here, there is a body. We'll investigate. And this is how we pick up the lore. So Stellar Blade is kind of like a combination of Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Nier Automata. Basically, the story isn't given to you directly, for the most part. You find it on finding these notes and that sort of thing on bodies that you find around the cities and other locations. So as you can see here, Legionnaire 451's resolution. Only death remains in this city. Humans who've lost all hope have locked themselves up and are waiting for death to take them. I think some areas of the orbit elevator are still functional. Let's use that to head out into space. Yes. So basically, the world was dying, from what I can gather, and they found a way into space. And as the story develops, you begin to understand why that was gradually. So we have that, but as you can see, you can actually work your way around to that side there. So we'll do that. It's worth checking every section. I'm pretty sure the scan button gives you an idea. And as you can see, the scan button actually shows you nearby enemies, nearby items, nearby nearby everything, really. And these little robots, they have upgrade materials, but you always have to jump away from them because they do explode. So we'll just jump into the menu quickly to show you the item that we picked up. What we just picked up was called the Tumbler Expansion Module. So basically it's used as an upgrade material for the rechargeable tumbler. In the year 2042, Eidos Company released an expansion module as an updated option for rechargeable tumblers. It was very popular because of its reasonable price and ability to easily increase potion capacity. So, in Sekiro, you have the Gourd. In Dark Souls, you have the Estus Flask. In Bloodborne, you have the Blood Vial. And in Stellar Blade, if you look in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, you have the Tumbler. The Tumbler is that rechargeable health, essentially, potion, which restores 40 to 50% of your life total. Picking up these materials eventually gives you the ability to upgrade the number that you can carry. You have to hunt for them in these small remote sort of locations or on bodies and that sort of thing. So now we'll just head back across and we'll cross over that section there for the next sequence. And you can find places where you can just rest. It's pretty cool. So we'll jump down here. We'll keep moving. But you got to look out for those little sections of the game where you can find those sort of upgrade materials. Which brings me to the skills. So, in Stellar Blade, Eve has access to several skills. You have got a whole collection of attack-based ones. You have survival-based ones. So this unlocks your dodges and your other unique dodge abilities. So there's two different ones. We will jump into it fairly soon. There's a couple of unlocked ones that you gain access to as you progress through the game. There's the beta skills. So that was the ability that you saw me use before against the elite Naytiba in the opening sequence of the game. So ideally, you want to select things from survival to begin with because it does make the game quite a bit easier. So as you can see here, the perfect dodge ability allows you to evade enemies, and when you get a perfect dodge, it boosts your burst ability, which means you can start using beta skills, and it also gives you follow-up attacks. So if you see here, you can actually get the blink skill and the repulse skill. Those are the two unique dodges that you gain access to. And then you gain other abilities where if you dodge perfectly, you can hold a button down and stun enemies, which comes in very handy against larger opponents. And in nearly all circumstances, these attacks can be used against bosses. So we're just going to grab the perfect dodge ability because it is very, very handy. But as you can also see, the counter skill is also really important. It gives you an extra attack when you successfully parry. So it's kind of like the Sekiro counterattack. Basically, as long as you time it well enough, you gain access to extra damage, and you also gain the ability to regenerate your beta energy. So you can be constantly attacking and blocking. And I do believe there's a cancel mechanic in the game as well, so you can be mid-attack, as long as you're not in the air, and you can use that to parry incoming attacks. So you immediately switch out of the attack frame into the parry frame, which is really quite cool. So what we'll do is we'll just select the perfect dodge skill when I get to somewhere I can rest and actually do that. So when you defeat enemies in the game, you gain access to SP points, which you can find in the top right-hand corner. Those SP points are used to buy your skills. So we'll just keep moving on. Okay. There's another one nearby. So this is a Legion camp. This is kind of like a bonfire from Dark Souls, or a an idol in Sekiro. Resting in this location respawns all the enemies around the map. It also gives Eve a chance to relax, regain her tumbler charges, and allows you to purchase skills. So we'll sit down and do that. I believe the game will tell me to get the perfect dodge skill to begin with, so we'll do that. And we picked up a Vitcoin. So Vitcoins are important to actually power these stations. As you can see here, camps are places where you can save your progress. Ooh. And you can sit down and regain all of those items. So finally, you can use the vending machine to purchase items, learn or train skills. So we'll activate that, which has activated everything. So what we'll do is we will select the new skill. You can see here that you can learn a new skill, you can change skills, and the game is telling us that we have to pick up perfect dodge anyway. So that's what we'll do. So we hold that to learn the skill, which will give us a nice friendly prompt. So the game is very accessible when it comes to teaching you the skills that you need to know to succeed in the game. So as you can see here, dodging at the perfect moment will activate perfect dodge, which allows you to avoid danger. And the game was nice enough to give us an extra skill point for that, so we can use that second skill point. As you can see, we can't learn the blink or repulse skills just yet. And as you can see here, you actually get skills that improve the skills that you've already got. So reflex boost would give you that. Focus boost makes it easier to use parry, so we want to go down that one first as well, because in these sort of games, focusing on the skills that you're meant to use makes the game immeasurably easier. So as you can see here, we gain execution attacks or backstabs. We can also gain access to lightning rush, which increases range and damage of the rush skill. So what we'll do is we will pick up the backstab mechanic. So it is very useful moving forward in the game. I believe somewhere here, it might be a locked skill. Yeah, the double dodge skill is something that we'll want to get access to pretty soon as well, because mobility and speed in this game defeats most of your enemies. Alright, so because we haven't really taken any damage, we don't need the enemies to respawn, so we'll keep moving forward. Oh. Thank you, game. We will rest then. Oh yeah, dialogue. So, fun fact. Actually, no, I just lost my train of thought. Never mind. We will continue onward. Okay, so we get the next enemy in the game. These are called crickets. And this is the tutorial for perfect dodges, which is that attack there. It gives us a nice slow sort of enemy so we can practice. Ow. This is pretty cool. Ow. Ow. Heal. So, as you can see in the health bar there, the enemy has 3 yellow dots underneath its health bar. When you successfully break its posture through parrying, you gain access to a visceral attack or a retribution attack. So, in a game like this, it's always worth exploring everywhere because you can find different items. And do this, you get access to other upgrade materials and chests. So the game actually tracks how many chests there are in the game and which ones you've opened. It is very designed for a completionist playthrough. Oh, that's what I was going to say before. There are 3 endings in the game. There is the good ending, the bad ending, and the secret ending. And because I haven't technically finished the game, I don't know which ending I'm going to get. So I'm probably going to just play through the game standard to see which ending that is. And I believe, now, again, I haven't researched the game completely, but I believe that New Game Plus creates variations on those endings as well. I'll have to check, but I think that's how it works.
レギオンのものなら使い道はあるはずだ。残さず回収しよう。
So the other fun thing about this game is it has complete parkour sections. And as you can see, the yellow paint on the railings there indicate the direction we have to travel in. So
気をつけろ。水の流れが急だ。
eventually you do gain the ability to do dodges in the air, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, that's from the beginning of the game. Never mind. And yes, it does give you the ability to perform acrobatics. So what we'll do is we'll jump our way through. So, if I remember correctly, there is a chest down in that corner over there, and I believe there's a pathway somewhere over there as well. And keep an eye out for all of the yellow markings, because they lead to other items. The game encourages you to explore, and explore I will.
こっちにもコンテナがあるぞ。
開けられずに残されたの。
他にも物資は残ってるはずだ。回収して損はない。くまなく探していこう。
Because each one of those upgrade materials can be used to purchase new outfits. Sorry, my headphones just died. You can use the upgrade materials to upgrade your certain other equipment as well. You also use them to purchase items. So, what we want to do next is head back that way and head down to that chest down there. Across here, and what you'll find is that you can do aerial attacks. The game tells you when you can do it, which again, really quite accessible. Most dive attacks can kill enemies straight away, the same as backstabs. So in Sekiro it's called posture, in Stellar Blade it's called balance. So enemies maintain their stance with balance. Balance is displayed below the HP and shield gauges. You can knock enemies off balance by performing a perfect parry. Enemies that are completely off balance become groggy, and you can use the retribution skill to deal massive damage. That was the game's way of telling us that this is this fancy skill that you can use. Ow. And there is a collection of unique retribution attacks. I believe there is a camp pretty close to us. But what we'll do is we'll head down that way and grab that chest. Like I said, the game is very intuitive when it comes to telling you where you need to go. So as you can see here, there's yellow on the wall that you can use to discover locations. Now, just got to remember why we had to come up this way. Ah, right. We're up here. Just need to remember which way we need to go. I think it's up this way. Oh, oh. Bear with me for a minute. I just got to remember the direction we need to go for this. No, and that's the other thing. You get a double jump eventually in the game, but we have not accessed that yet. So, whoops. It's going to be one of those situations where I die from gravity a whole lot while I remember what I need to do. Of course, you don't need to parry your opponents. Ow. Sometimes you can just melee attack them to death, which is totally fine. Remember why you needed to climb up that way. I'll come back to this. If I remember correctly, there's nothing overly important up there. Just keep working our way through the map. The amazing soundtrack that the game has. So, press the, I suppose that's the Xbox window button, to have the drone scan the surrounding area. Scanning locates places you can hang from, which is probably something I should do when I go back to the statue. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to show you. If you go into the menu and go to the manual, I believe it tells you somewhere how many chests you have left to collect in the area. Oh, and there is a fully fledged fishing minigame in the game as well. So you can see that there's a climbing area over there with a crate. But what we'll do is we'll head back and figure out where we're supposed to go with this. Maybe this time I won't jump off the side of the statue. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, so if you're joining into the stream for the first time, I've been having audio problems since late February when I first started this up again. A whole range of different problems. It's been a nightmare to try and solve. I think after I got the NVIDIA broadcast app, it has solved a whole bunch of problems. So yes, thank you so much for giving me an update. I'm always a little self-conscious when it comes to making sure the audio is working the way that it should be. Okay. Let's see where I'm supposed to go. It's not being very helpful to telling me where I need to be traveling. This way? This. Just had to remember where we needed to go. Apparently not that way. Like I said, I'll come back to that. Okay, so what we'll do...
他と比べたらここはマシな方さ。コロニー墜落以降、大部分は塵と化したんだ。
What we'll do is up that way. Gotta remember how to. This way. Grab all of that stuff and we'll keep moving forward. Oh, there's a chest. Oh no, I just got a chest there. That's fine. Alright. Let's keep working our way through the map. So as you can see, there's a bunch of stuff through there, and a fusion cell just over here.
ボンネットを開けろ。おやったな。
Yeah.
フュージョンセルは無事だ。
フュージョンセル。
高圧縮バッテリーだよ。こいつのおかげで地球でも明かりを灯せる。
なるほど。旧型のインフィニティセルってところ。
貴重なものだからなくさないようにな。
Like I said, the game makes it very clear the direction you're meant to travel in, but it also throws in little side quests. There's a whole bunch of side quests in the game. We will probably end up doing a majority of them. Through that doorway there, you do gain access to a chest that you don't have the code for just yet. So we'll head through there, we'll kill the cricket and a few other things. We'll have a general look to see, and then what we'll do is we'll continue heading up that way. So there's actually a cricket hiding just behind the wall over here, and there's a new enemy, the floating octopus thing that you can see in the distance over there. Those octopus things, much easier to deal with once you stealth kill them. So what we'll do is we'll head here to get this guy. Ow. And probably die to just a normal enemy, which is super fun. That was the other thing I was going to say that you may have noticed while you've been watching. The combat is very similar to Devil May Cry as well. You've got a light attack, you've got a heavy attack, you've got chained combos, you've got different variations of the same combo based on the attacks that you're using. It's all really, really quite interesting. So, let me see if there's a camp nearby. A couple of doorways over there. Because I just realized I have no more heals. And I just triggered a cinematic. This should be fun. Ow. Alright, let's make sure we don't die. There we go. Woo! As you can see, basically all of the minor Naytibas are all mutants to varying degrees. And I just died. This is not like Sekiro. I have not played this game nearly as much. But it gave me a free respawn of all of my life, and the other really accessible thing about Sekiro, about Stellar Blade, is that you don't lose anything upon death except your pride. Well, you know, and I've died plenty in all the other sort of Souls-like games, so dying in this, not really that big of a problem. Let's trigger the cutscene again, and we've got a few more heals this time, so I'm probably not going to die the same way. And the other cool thing about this game, you can skip cutscenes. Especially if you've already seen them before. Yeah, okay. There we go. Go. Okay. That's a little bit better. So as you can see, I don't actually have the counterattack to the perfect dodges just yet. So that's one of the next things I need to upgrade with. I got to remember all the parry timings as well to everything. Super fun. There we go. Ouch. Ow. Heal. There we go. Perfect. That is a heavy guardian, and what you can do is the data bank fills with the information for every single enemy in the game. So the heavy guardian. While stone statues erode with time, Naytibas mimicking statues do not. Heavy guardians have killed, devoured, and constantly extended their own bodies to become uncontrollable, bloodthirsty giants. It gives you a little bit of information to help when it comes to fighting them as well. So in this case, heavy guardians possess a very strong body with destructive powers. Their mace-like hand can shatter the ground. Heavy guardians charge with their heavy bodies. Avoid them so you don't get crushed. So it gives you an idea of the moveset that they've got. And as you can see here, you have that for every single enemy that you encounter in the game. Eventually, I believe there is a alpha Naytibas section as well. But since we haven't encountered any of them yet, we're not going to have to worry about it. And as you can see, there are 3 different types. There is the smaller minion type enemies, the larger humanoid-ish or quadrupedal monsters, and then you've got the elite Naytibas, which are the boss level sort of enemies. So we fought the brute at the start of the game. Up all the equipment, investigate the pathway. As you can see, you can actually find new areas of the game where you can get new upgrade materials. And now, the Heavy Guardian is kind of like a chameleon. It hides in other statues. So what you can do, and again, this speaks to how Shift Up approached the design of the game, you can actually use the scan function of the drone to detect where they are. So if I was to hit the scan button, that statue over there, if it's an enemy, it will come up. As you can see, it's come up with enemy 22 meters away. So that gives you an idea that you can scan your surroundings to discover that sort of thing. So we know what's coming. And these are just the normal guardians. Ow. Grab attack. So, you may have just seen the blue circle appear on that enemy. That's when you're supposed to use the blink skill. The blink skill is like a special triggered attack that you can use, but only when that blue circle surrounds your character. It's very similar to the repulse, which is a purple circle that is around your character as well. You may have also just seen that Eve's weapon is actually made of nanites, and when it's not being used, it's actually a hair ornament. And this is one of the fateful pilots of the 7th crew, I'm pretty sure. And this is one of the upgrade materials, I say. Basically, well, I'll investigate this and it'll trigger an explanation. So basically, Eve finds the bodies of her comrades that have been scattered across the various maps. Each one of them provides you a different core upgrade. So in this case, we've received the beta core. It tells us that we need 3 of them to get the next upgrade. Next, we'll find another one and it'll give us the health upgrade. So by finding all of these cores, you can improve Eve's life total, her energy totals, and all of that sort of thing. Now, I'll draw your attention to this that we've got in our bag as well. We have a weapon core. Now, Eve's weapon is called the Blood Edge, and we require weapon cores in order to upgrade. So that's kind of like getting a +1 on your weapon. So I'll just explain what you've got here. The colony's particle control technology can now fight back against Naytibas through self-enhancing designs. It sounds like magic, but that's not what it is. This AI optimizes everything for the user and evolves by analyzing the enemies that the user has dealt with. Our monster's DNA will be the perfect food for it. So the game is telling you that the core way, no pun intended, of getting these weapon upgrades is by defeating the bosses. As you see, as I progress my way through the game, by getting those weapon cores, you start hitting harder. And the beta core, I'll just read out what this is as well. Because the DNA structures of Naytibas are always changing, the beta energy system that extracts and uses energy from their blood is fundamentally unstable. Defense companies, such as Orca Aerospace, are constantly tried to secure and improve the samples. This came at the cost of many lives. So that's an interesting sort of explanation as to how the beta energy system works. Essentially, the more you attack your enemies, the more beta energy you generate. The more beta energy you generate, the more you can use these special beta attacks. Which include that sweep attack, there's a stabbing attack, I haven't unlocked it yet, but there's a shield breaking attack. All of that sort of stuff can be found by upgrading your beta core energy. So, let's continue on. So as you can see, there's plenty of reasons why I love this game. The art style, the art direction is perfect. It really engrosses you in the environment that you're in. And eventually, you have multiple ways. Okay, so that is the lore reason for the yellow paint that you find across the maps. It is the Legion marking the way that you need to follow. So yes, there is quite a lot of customization with Eve, you could call as well. Basically, the game designers, Shift Up, came up with all of these outfits for Eve. Purely cosmetic, but it allows you to customize Eve the way that you want to, enjoy your NPC. It's no different to the FromSoft games, where you get different types of outfits. Now, you could argue that with FromSoft games, each different armor set or clothing set that you get does provide you with certain upgrades to your defenses and resistances and that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, especially to an experienced player of the Dark Souls or Elden Ring game, the armor that you wear at the end of the day becomes more of a fashion statement than anything else. And Shift Up decided to skip over that and just make it purely fashion. So we'll head up here. As you can see, there is a path we have to follow over there, and there's a path that you can travel over there. So instead of going up there initially, we're just going to run over here, drop down here, head up here. This is actually a bit of a shortcut, so you don't have to work your way through that sequence down there. So we'll head up here. Like I said, the game is very much designed so that the more you explore, the more you find the hidden secrets in the game. The last words of the hopeless. Decades have passed since the appearance of Naytibas, the evacuation of humankind to the colony. They say the airborne squad is descending to rescue the remaining humankind, but there's no sign. We can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. So, as you can see, the lore is telling us that whatever happened on Earth was so tragic that humankind tried to escape. And there was a colony out just off the planet. An airborne squad, which Eve is a member of, was supposed to come back to save what remained of humankind. But they couldn't find anyone left. And this also provides us with a code. Now, if I remember correctly, I don't think we've got to the area for this one just yet. But I've said it a few times before. But the game is very good at telling you the direction you have to go, to the point where they even have signs giving you an indication. So what we'll do is we'll vault our way this way. So, anything that you can interact with is yellow. There is a yellow ladder just over there before we hit the next location, the next campsite, where we can get a very, very useful respawn location. And we're running out of tumblers, so we probably need some more of those. As you can see, there is a fence there, so we'll want to explore underneath the water as well, because there is plenty of things to be found. So as you can see, there is this platform over here. Which again leads you to different locations. Just trying to remember where this one's supposed to lead you to. It's over here. Way. So the game, like I said, really inspires you to do more exploration. And you can see that there is more colors over this way too. So that is a bit of a shortcut to get to the location you need to go. Lewis's testimony. Lucas, look up at the sky. There's something falling. I wonder what that is. I didn't hear the orbital explosion warnings go off. So, some of these NPCs and the notes that they provide actually explain the perspective of these NPCs to the arrival of the airborne squadron that Eve is a part of. What you can do here is you can jump up here, down to there. And I went the wrong way. Let's go back up. So normally I do stream from 6 till 8. Today I did start a little bit later at 6:30. I probably won't finish at 8 o'clock tonight. I probably run through till around 8:30. So we'll get as far as we can get into the game. Oh, whoops. That's embarrassing. Fortunately, I shouldn't have to refight my way through another cutscene here. Going through. Back across this way and try not to die again. Probably should have used that last heal. Because Eve, despite being a droid, cyborg, I guess. She still takes damage when falling. Let's try this again. There we go. There we go. This allows us to skip over the sequence that we need to use in the water. We will probably have to jump down there because I think there's like a chest or something just underneath the water there. There we go. We'll activate this camp so we don't have to run all the way back if we die from gravity again. Perfect. So we'll rest. Not sure if there's dialogue for this particular sequence. Okay. See if I can purchase any new skills. Okay, so there is also shops. Basically, they sell all of the basic sort of stuff. When you unlock the drone as a ranged weapon later, you can buy ammunition from these locations as well, along with you can respec your skills from the very start of the game. It costs a little bit of gold, but it gives you the ability to change your loadout mid-game. So you should never feel stuck with a loadout that you're not comfortable with. So let's try the skill settings. Oh, this is very touchy. Like I said, very context sensitive. Let's try not doing that again. Let's walk back for a touch and then walk forward. Okay, so we have one skill point. In this situation, what I would like to do is get the reflex boost so I can get access to the double dodge, because that will be very, very useful moving forward. As you can see, we already have a large number of the attacks. These are all the different variations to the combos that we can use. Over this side, you can see that there is the aerial attack, the rush chain, and the lightning rush. So we're probably not going to grab those straight away. But we can also grab the shockwave attack, and we can also grab the shield breaker. Shield breaker is pretty useful as well. So all enemies have a shield meter. Eve has a shield meter. Basically, it's like a damage reduction, effectively, and once you have your shield expended, the amount of damage that your health bar takes actually increases. And the same can be said for enemies, so the same rule applies. So what I'll do is I'll pick up the shield breaker. It is very useful for some enemies coming up. But fun fact, if you have a look at Eve's health bar, you can see the shield in the bottom corner has two sections on it. If you deactivate her current suit of armor, you unequip it, you actually default to the landing outfit. A very, very interesting fact about this particular skin suit. So, the skin suit are outfits specially crafted by Mother Sphere. So we haven't met Mother Sphere yet. It covers the body of the airborne squad member and deploys on its own, or expands and contracts depending on the situation. In other words, it's like a living skin. But as you can see here, the shield is disabled when you put this skin suit on. So if you go back, you have no shield meter, which means you take extra damage. So what we'll do is we'll just put on the planet diving suit. Children born on a starry night. A glorious mission begins. Illuminate Earth as beacons of hope. May you forge a path to the future. Alright, so we'll head back down here. What you can do from the very start of the game is you can dive. And the reason I wanted to come down here is there's a chest and an opening to get there. So this is one of those sort of games where getting as many upgrade materials as you can from the start comes in very useful later game. So, as you can see, unless we want to go all the way up and around the way we did before, we can't actually reach the ladder there. But what you can do is you can push the planks, which gives us easier access to the ladder. Maybe if I don't jump behind the ladder. Alright, sorry Eve. Let's try this again. So you have to be in front of the ladder in order to use it. There we go. Okay, so down there we have our next enemy. As you can see, a lot of the enemies that we're facing are mutant Naytibas. Essentially, they are, for lack of a better term, they're like a mutagenic, like a mutated sort of biological weapon. And a lot of the ones that we faced, like the cricket and the other like quadrupeds, they're all insectoid. As you can see with this one, both the shield that it's carrying and the creature are both insectoid in nature. So a lot of the minor enemies possess that sort of trait. Okay, so over here, we unlock this. Like any good Souls-like game, there are doors, which gives us access to sections of the game. So if you remember when I died from gravity before, we came out of this section, we couldn't access this section here, but now we can. So like the FromSoft games, it operates on the hub and spoke model. So you have the hub and then you have different spokes that come off, and you have secret doorways like this that allow you to work your way back around to previous parts of the map. So this is a section we have to come through, and as you can see here, there is an operate function here. The operate function is designed for the fusion cell that we picked up before. But what I'll do to begin with is we'll kill this guy over here. Now, I was going to say if we take it slow, we could have stealth killed this guy, but it doesn't look like that's the case. Okay. So the other important thing to note is that after certain enemies receive a certain degree of attack, they actually transform. Oop. Now the reason I'm showing you this is that after you receive a certain amount of damage for these guys, you can actually break their shields. Like their literal biology can be broken. If you head your way through here, you can see the pharmacy with that chest. So you might recall I grabbed a note off the body before. This is the pharmacy that the chest is associated with. So scan over here, and as you can see, there is two enemies. You've got a cricket behind there, and you have a statue guy just here. Sorry, buddy. Oh, I missed him. Oh well. I don't have Link yet. So there's a cricket just around here. Come on, buddy. It's always beneficial to try and break an enemy's balance, because the retribution attack can often be enough to kill the enemy. So we'll look around here, we'll grab this chest. So these chests have higher level upgrade materials, and sometimes they possess extra items as well. So we'll grab this. Okay, oh. You can even pick up items like the SP Initializer, which allows you to respec your Eve's skill set. Alright, so that we've gone through there, we will trigger the fusion over here. Opens up the doorway. Now we are in a library. So, as I mentioned before, Eve has a shield. Eve is protected by a shield. Eve has damage reduction while the shield is active, and the damage reduction effect increases as the shield's protection level increases. The protection level decreases after each time a shield takes a certain amount of damage. Some enemies are also protected by a shield. Enemies have damage reduction while the shield is active. Destroy the shield, stun the enemy, and disrupt the shield use. Use skills like Shield Breaker or Shield Destruction Gear to quickly destroy an enemy's shield to turn the tide of battle. Ow, that 3-hit combo. Okay.
Adam, これは何?
まさか知らないのか？地図だよ。
地図? どうやって現在地を同期するの?
Yeah. Alright, so there are assorted books and stuff that you can investigate in this area as well. Plastic Hearts Volume 3. And basically, you've got all these different bits of lore that you can find in the game. I'll skip over that one. It is important for a quest later though, so we'll keep a hold of it. Sometimes... Oh, let's go up this way to dodge across. Okay.
おう、ここは図書館だったみたいだな。
壁に並んでるのは全部記録デバイス。
ああ、だが1メガバイトしか保存できない。
資源の無駄遣い。
Spoken like a true android. This is the octopus enemy. Ow. Heal. Killed a Hydra, the many-limbed foe.
裂け目が深い。渡るのは難しそうだ。
So the good news is we are almost up to the first boss of the game. I think once I defeat the Abaddon, we will probably call it for this stream. I know that I did kind of want to get through EDOS 7 completely. It's probably not going to happen. But what we'll do is we will get to there and we'll pick up. Yeah, we'll get to the Abaddon, we'll defeat it, and then we'll call it there for the first part of EDOS 7 being done. And then on Wednesday, we'll probably do a bit of a longer stream just to work our way through the remainder of this map. Which means that these streams for Stellar Blade will probably go for quite a bit longer. We'll probably end up playing this all the way through April. And to be honest, I'm not even disappointed. This is a very fun game to play. It's very aesthetically pleasing. So what we'll do is we'll work our way through the car park. The Abaddon is on the very top level. This is a doorway we can't actually open. Now we're in the parking tower. So we'll pick up this. This is our first health upgrade. So the body core is used to increase max HP. Bag. Eidos Company built only one type of body and distinguished the trim by differentiating the built-in firmware. That means that fundamentally, the performance of the body can be improved by updating the firmware. Of course, having the body cores that come in contact with the body will also start a simple update procedure. So this really speaks to how Eve is an android, and by finding these body cores, she's updating her firmware to better handle the damage she's taking. So we can't actually go through there, so we have to head up. Supply camps feature more devices than regular camps. You can use the repair console here to enhance weapons, increase rechargeable tumbler count, and upgrade your exospines, and upgrade Eve's combat abilities. You can also upgrade your drone, craft nanosuits, and fast travel to other camps. So we'll activate this. See what upgrades we can do at the repair console. So, this is where you get your different upgrades. You have the attack power enhancement, which is attack power enhancement level 1. So that's like we've got just a default blood edge. By using weapon cores, you can enhance it, which we'll do now. As you can see, it's a upgrade of about 10%. You can also see that we've purchased, we've got a tumbler expansion module, 1 of 3, and an omnibolt, 0 of 3. So gear socket expansions allow us to basically equip extra rings, for lack of a better phrase. So we'll rest up. Oh, looks like we have a skill setting upgrade. So we can change the skill tree and select Blink. So Blink is very important for the boss that we're eventually going to fight, the Abaddon at the top of the parking structure. So the game is basically giving us a gift of learning it. And again, I've said it a few times, but Shift Up has done an exceptional job of teaching the player how to use its different skills, and you can gain access to all these different training in your menu. So select the skill at the kiosk to train it. You can also try out skills you haven't learnt yet. If you are not used to combat, try increasing your proficiency with various skills through training. So the Blink skill, which is the one we just got, when an enemy glows blue and attempts a fatal attack, use Blink to counter it. If the enemy is within the skill's range, Eve's sword will glow the same color. So it's just a matter of timing your attacks. Probably the biggest takeaway for Stellar Blade is that don't mash the attack buttons. If you start mashing your attack buttons, you lose out on being able to cancel into attacks like these. Press forward and B when Eve's sword glows to move to the target's rear and counterattack. And this is the game telling us. Which is really quite cool. And I hit the back button, not the forward one. Let's do this one more time. Oh. You remember? There we go. Okay, so that's the blink skill. Rest up, get a bit of dialogue, and then we'll work our way through the parking structure to fight the Abaddon.
昨日のことだけど、助けてくれてありがとう。
礼なんていい。まあ、数年かけて集めたエグゾスパインの素材は全て失ったから。いいんだ。これからは助け合っていけるしな。一緒にアルファネイティブを探し出そう。それにどのみち、俺一人の力じゃここまで来られなかった。記録保管庫までたどり着けるなら十分な見返りだよ。
心配しないで。受けた恩は必ず返してみせる。
So, I'm not sure if you caught that, but the events of the opening sequence of the game took place yesterday. Very interesting. So, we are now in the parking structure. We need to work our way up to the roof to fight the Abaddon. And as you can see, the game is telling us the direction we have to travel. The Abaddon is just up there. So, this is the first boss of the game. It is meant to be a challenge to see how well you cope against these larger enemies. The cool thing about Stellar Blade, and again, I can't gush enough about all the things the developer did right for this game, but defeating your boss enemies gives you access to a boss challenge mode. The boss challenge mode allows you to challenge the boss at the current state of your save. So that means if you're later in the game and you have more heals or more skills, you can access that challenge mode and use those skills against earlier bosses. It also means that you can practice against the bosses. You can improve and learn how they act and how they behave. It's all really, really quite interesting stuff. So, we'll head up here, we'll fight the Abaddon. Depending on how we go, I may defeat it first try, I may not. We'll play it for as long as we can until we can defeat the Abaddon, and then I think we'll start thinking about finishing up the stream for today. So, here we go. Pray to God that my frames don't tank, because this is an intensive scene.
ただのネイティブじゃなさそうだ。
アダム、下がってて。
I'm mistiming all of my perfect parry. There we go. Oh. Yep. I'm gonna move away. Ouch. But we don't have the follow-up attack yet. There we go. Ouch. Heal up. Yep, you're absolutely correct. The challenge mode is really quite good. There we go. Get the retribution attack. Parry timing is a little bit looser. You don't have to be perfect with it. The windows can be quite tight depending on the attacks the enemies are using. And once you get enough through the game, you gain the ability to upgrade the windows for it. So there are exosuits that can increase the window for it. There are weapon upgrades that you can use to get increase the window as well. The game is very good with that sort of thing. I think we're almost done here. Ow. Do I want to go visceral? Ow. Yeah, maybe. I might go for a retribution kill. Whoop. That's close. Oh, look. And we're done. First boss down. The boss challenge mode is a really cool idea. Yeah, look. I'm going to show that off in just a second. Now that we've defeated the first boss of the game on our first try. Because apparently that's just what I do with Souls-likes.
アルファネイティブじゃなかった。
まあそうだが強い相手ではあったな。敵は手強くなる一方だ。
かもね。それより次はどっちに向かうの？
ああ、待ってくれ。マップデータを見てみる。直線距離で言えば記録保管庫はそう遠くない。だが辺り一帯が水没してる。何か策を考えないとな。
通れる道がないってこと？
いや、待て。石像の後ろに看板があるだろう。あそこにある輸送設備を使えばいけそうだ。
本気？ずっと放棄されてた設備なんて動くはずがない。
物資キャンプだって無事だったろ。何事もポジティブに行こう。
ポジティブね。そう。
And as you can see here, defeating the boss gives you access to a whole bunch of equipment, including our first gear. Gear is equipment that can improve Eve's combat capabilities. You can equip gear in gear sockets to boost your desired combat abilities. You can access gear sockets in the equipment tab by pressing pause to enter the menu. You can collect Omnibolts to unlock more slots and equip more gear. So the protection gear is the first one we picked up, and the beta charge to gain more beta energy. We've also picked up another weapon core and some extra material. So what I'm thinking is we will heal up, we'll work our way through to the monorail station, we'll take the monorail to watch that cinematic, and then we will probably call it at that point. I'd like to say that I wasn't expecting to defeat that boss the first try, but based on all my previous playthroughs, well, my playthrough of Sekiro, yeah. So we will grab the reflex boost, which allows us to make it easier to perfect dodge. To answer the question in the chat before, you gain abilities like the focus boost, which makes it easier to use your perfect parry. So essentially, the initial parry window is quite tight. You probably have 1.5 seconds for it. Every upgrade that you receive, so like the focus boost upgrade or gears or exosuits, increases that window. So you might start at 1.5. By the end, you might have 2 to 3 seconds, or the equivalent number of frames to activate that parry window. But my goal currently is to get access to this skill, the double dodge, which, again, Eve is all based around mobility and agility over just brute strength, and the more that you can control your environment, the easier the game becomes. So we'll heal up, we'll work our way down through the structure, we will fight the weird horse creature, and we'll get to the monorail. Fight our way through all of the crickets that are in this area. Pick up every single upgrade material that we can find. That cricket go. Nope. See me? Yeah. These things have huge degrees of perception. So, oh wait, sorry, I just realized that my camera is a little bit low, so I'll just move that a little bit higher for that. There we go, that's better. Just realized I was covering some information on the screen. Right, so go. I'm not sure if you can tell if I've played this before, but I've played this before a little bit. Oh, there's a spinning cricket. Whoa. Ouch. Okay, must flee. Must flee. Must flee with the fleeing. Yeah, so for the record, when those cricket boomers explode, it is an AoE attack. So, yeah. We want to maintain our distance from that. Okay, so then you've got these smaller upgrade boxes. You can find them around the locations. Unlike the larger crates, I believe these possess unique upgrade materials. Yep. So we've just picked up our first exospine. Exospines contribute to Eve's combat style. You can equip exospines to your equipment's exospine socket to choose your desired combat style. They can be upgraded at repair consoles located in supply camps. Each upgrade unlocks additional features of the exospine. So if we go to this, we now have an exospine upgrade. The chain type exospine. Gear modules provided a successful custom experience, but their performance was limited. As a result, Eidos Company worked with its partner Tetrastar in order to produce low-level APIs and devices for higher-level modding. The motto for development was, change everything that can be changed. So, the level 1 chain type exospine increases attack power of combo attacks level 2 or higher by 27%. As you can see, you can upgrade the exospines using those materials we've been collecting to get increased crit damage and eventually increased crit rate of combo attacks level 4 or higher. So we'll equip this simply because we don't have any other exospines. And then we'll equip some gear. So the beta charge gear or the protection gear. So, protection gear. Abandoned by Mother Sphere, the survivors on Earth had to do whatever they could to survive in the wasteland. They often made unauthorized modifications, such as implanting chips in the gear modules or soldering jumper cables without adequate equipment. Occasionally, the devices they made were useful, but very rarely. And then you had the beta charge gear. Shortly after the first gear module was released, many accused the company of selling tiny bits of scrap metal for hundreds of or thousands of dollars. Once it was realized that the price was actually a great bargain, Eidos Company became a platform leader overnight, as well as an icon of user centricity and innovation. So we're just going to select the damage reduction. My goal is not to get hit, but sometimes I can't prevent it. Now we have a little bit of extra defense. So what we can do now, pretty sure we can open a doorway somewhere over here. So you can actually pattern interrupt enemies as well. As you can see, the cricket was about to spawn its third claw attack. You can actually stop that from happening by maintaining your the pressure on the opponent. Okay, so as you can see here, there's a chest with 3 on it. There are 3 enemies in this area. Once you defeat them all, the chest is accessible. Hey, buddy. So once you've mastered the timing for different enemy attacks with parries, you can very seamlessly move from attack to defense without too much trouble. The only major thing is if you're in the air at the time. If you're in the air, you can't parry, and if you can't parry, you take extra damage. So as you can see, there's 2 on there now. We have a cricket over there, and we have a boomer over there. Let's see. Stab is instant. There we go. And that chest over there should unlock now. We'll head over there and grab the item. Button. So there was a fusion cell in that chest, which means we need it for the doorway that's just over here. So you've got 2 different ones on that side, 1 over there. We'll grab this. There we go. We'll grab the second one over by the car over here. Double check, make sure there is anything else. Another Bitcoin. So Bitcoins are interesting. Bitcoins can be used to purchase items when we get to Xion. which is the last location of living, the last batch of survivors in the wasteland. Grab that. We'll open up this. Go. So this is where it gets interesting. The next sequence of the map has plenty of vertical movement as well.
What's this? What does the beta energy do that the other gear boosted?
The beta energy gear increases beta energy absorption by 6%. So it allows you to access, if you look in the bottom right hand corner, there's 3 different types of attack. There's the sweep, there's the stabbing attack, and the shield breaker. That gear increases the rate that you gain that energy by 6%, which can be pretty useful. So we'll save here. Well, yeah, we'll save here. Go. Rest. There we go. Now, see all the enemies respawn there. If we go this way, this is the other side of that ravine where we came in originally. And there's a chest here, a box here, which leads to a section up top there. You've got more stuff over that way there, and a section that we can go underground over that way. And if we go over this way, this is where the game is telling us to go. And the horse enemy! I gotta say, the enemy design in this game is incredible. It truly is. When I'm not being hit by it, that is. Ow. Heal up. For what it's worth, I am trying to parry it. Because you can. And I'm that kind of player. Ow. And the timing of my parries is not being very good at the moment. Or I'm doing the opposite of what the game wants me to do. There we go. Come on. I remember the first time I fought this enemy. Ow. Right, better respawn in a second. Oh boy. Alright, trying to show off a little bit. There we go. There we go. The Dozer is what it's called. So we'll respawn. We'll probably have to fight it again, or we'll just skip past it. But that's how the game tells you the direction that you're supposed to head in. It's actually quite clever when you think of it from a design perspective. You've got 2 options coming out of this section. You can go that way, which is the way we came, or this way, and you can see that there's actually an arrow there that tells us, hey, look, this is the direction you probably want to head in. So what we'll do first is we'll head over here, because yellow, like I said, is what the developers use to tell us the direction we're supposed to travel in for different things. We'll head up here for another little platforming sequence, which leads to another upgrade material, I'm pretty sure. And yes, there are sections down there that we will explore in a minute. Hey look, there's a couple of statues here. With the scan ability, it'll tell us where the enemies are. These 2 are not enemies. Over here. Naturally, you get better and quicker at figuring out how to deal with these enemies. It helps that I've played at least this sequence of the game before, so I know what to expect. There we go. So we'll grab a bit more lore. Memo. Ensure the security procedures at the lion statue entrance. Team Athena leader. Over here, we have... You can see a cricket just hiding there. And there's a body there. And typically you would see the body and go, oh, I should probably investigate that. But there is an enemy hiding behind the glass. I suppose I have to trigger it. Hey, buddy. Ow. Go. Investigate this guy again. Grab the chest. So the lion statue is our next destination based on the note that we received on that side there. So we'll head back down. Now, if I remember correctly, you have this enemy here, which is a gross multi-ocular enemy. So what we'll do is we'll jump. The Cannon Guardian is what they're called. So, in an ironic turn of events, unlike Sekiro, I do like using all of the skills in this game. I think it adds to it. Sekiro, you can definitely play through without needing to do any of this, but Stellar Blade was one of those games where I really just wanted to enjoy everything about it. So, The Truth, Article 3. Orca Terminators. The shocking brutality of the Legion, the private military contractor under Orca Aerospace Company. First published in this paper with vivid on-site evidence. Planned conflicts occurring in the Third World. In-depth coverage of the PMC's cruel ethnic cleansing. Orca Aerospace Company intentions. Map of current resource disputes. Those are the Terminators. They show no mercy. The horrific truth revealed through a survivor's testimony. An exclusive report from our reporter Quinn, only in The Truth. So, there is a secondary benefit to picking up all of the notes. It's something that I believe is related to getting the secret ending of the game. So it does benefit you to pick up every single note that you can find. Okay, so I believe there is some stuff over that side there, and there is the lion statue here. If I remember correctly. Like I said, it's been a while since I've played the game, but I do remember where a bunch of stuff is in this. So we'll head down here. Pretty sure there's another upgrade material through this section. There we are. Ouch. Oh, boys. Heal up. I just realized how close we were to dying. Can't go up that way. Let's go the other way. Okay, I think there's a body near a statue up here. There it is. There's 2 enemies there, and there's 2 humans there. Away from this guy. Go. Grab this upgrade material. So that's the second body core. Okay. Pretty sure there was a body over here. There it is. With a few more upgrade points. Alright. So, I know I like to gush about just how well Shift Up did this game. Basically, once you start the sprinting animation, if you don't get paused or stop with it midway, Eve actually starts to sprint at twice the speed. Very, very cool. Grab some gold. Grab this body. Outcry to the sky. The network is down. The sky burns. The colony falls apart. Where is Mother Sphere? Why is the colony falling down to Earth? Answer my last call, Mother Sphere. Why? Why? You promised us salvation. Was it a lie? So as you can see, the plot thickens. Okay, so we'll head the other direction now that we've got everything now in this part of the map. Okay, I know I said earlier at the start of the stream that I'm unlikely to do a 100% run of this, but it turns out, apparently, I'm going to be doing it anyway. Okay, so... Right. It's interesting because my brain is, like, remembering where all of, like, the upgrade materials for different things are. Pretty sure I can't get through this way just yet. But there is a pathway that we can travel through this way. As you can see, that was part of the reason I decided to get the backstab mechanic from the start. Now, if I remember correctly, we head over this way. There's a shortcut. So we'll activate this shortcut and head back the other way. Go. So that's an easy way of getting back to the supply camp. I think we're actually doing pretty good as far as health is concerned. Now, I think there is another core upgrade just around this corner. Surrounded by enemies. Oh, that was close. Damn explodey boys. Ouch. Alright, come on. Okay, so as you can see, the cannon enemy fires his eyeballs. Let me deal with this guy first. Okay, so the cannon eyeball guy when you see him fire, he's actually firing his eyeballs. But as he fires them, he actually loses them. And then part of his trigger is he starts getting them back. Which is really quite cool as far as like enemy design is concerned. You can literally see him reloading his eyes. So around here we've got some more upgrade materials and another core upgrade. I think this is a beta core. Oh, body core. Alright, so we've just received our first max HP upgrade. And the health bar has gone up about a third. Keep moving because there is a chest here. More upgrade materials are always good. Okay, so this is a fun little mini game. Basically, a whole sequence of arrows come up. Sometimes the arrows alternate. Basically, you use the D-pad to trigger the direction that the output says. Pretty simple game, pretty fun. And it changes just significantly enough every time you do it. So and we're done. Nice. There's not many mini games like that in this game. And we've just picked up our first Omnibolt, which we use for fixed... Oh, and we've also got the fixed damage gear as well. So the Omnibolt is used to get extra gear slots. The one we picked up is the fixed damage gear, which increases the amount of fixed damage on combo attacks, so we deal more damage once we hit a certain point. Modular gear expansion designs have been implemented in various fields, including military gear. The military gear uses state-of-the-art technology from the Orca Aerospace Company, and each module costs millions of dollars. It is currently a must-have device for all Sentinels in Xion. So the Sentinels are like the city guard, essentially. Alright, cool. And we'll look at the Omnibolt upgrade description. The modular gear expansion designs from Eidos Company was both efficient and BM friendly. The company was able to sell gears and Omnibolts, a component for unlocking. If the Omnibolt was not fitted into the hole, and the expansion socket would not work at all. So the game actually gives you a lore reason as to why that works the way that it does. So we will run back. And we'll head over this direction here. So there is another upgrade material just on the other side of that wall. Yeah, I know I haven't played in like a year, but the first thing we want to do is vault our way up this sequence here. Why? You might be wondering. Because there's a cricket on the other side. And this cricket is easier to deal with an assault. And then there should be a heavy guardian over there. Yep. Oh no! Alright. That hurts, and it stunned you a little bit. We'll heal up. Oh, I hit the wrong direction. Okay, so, when I scanned before, you did see a body on the other side. Fortunately, the game is really helpful at telling you how to get to it. So we'll head up here. We'll drop down. Grab this upgrade, this note. Legionnaire 302 Sorrow. Why is the rescue team so late? We've lost connection to comms. I promise I wouldn't eat this garbage food again. We have to last until the rescue team comes. The body needs fuel to survive. So as you can see here, the Guardian has eaten a whole bunch of junk food from cans of Coke by the looks of things, chocolate cereal, pizza, and that sort of stuff. Basically, like I've said a couple of times, the game really tells you to explore, because that's how you find really cool little tidbits of lore. Right, so where do I go to get out of here? Oh, outside. If in doubt, look for the yellow sequence and that'll tell you where you need to go. Okay, so as you can see, there's a chest up there. And 2 enemies. And there's another dozer just down there. So you've got a couple of ways of handling this dozer. My preferred way is to aerial attack it. We can get it to come close enough. Okay. Here we go. There we go, backstab. So the cool thing about backstabs is they do kill basically every enemy first hit. Grab those upgrades. Grab the chest over here. Grab this over here. The fusion cell. Before we go down there and through that doorway, which is the direction the game wants us to go, we are going to head up this way. There we go. Yes, basically you can farm skill points playing through the game. I'm not going to do that because I don't think that's a very fun way of playing. I will see what I can do about defeating these guys with an aerial attack. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, the object that we need to go through is just over there. So we will... Ow. Okay. This way. Okay, so we're almost at the monorail station.
Yes.
I reckon we'll probably get there just before the next turn of the hour. So, historically with games, water sections have never exactly been the funnest part. That dates back as far as Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time and the Water Temple. But in this particular game, the underwater sequences aren't that hard. And for the sake of repeating myself, Shift Up has done a really good job of making these sequences at least interesting. You don't have to worry about submerged enemies. It's all just purely exploration based. And because you have the scan ability, the game tells you exactly the direction you need to be traveling in. So as you can see here, there's a doorway with a panel, but there's also a body floating over there. So we'll go and pick that up. Save ourselves a trip. Respite of the Hopeful. Just received the comm signal from a new unit. The Eve protocol begins. Angels of Death will descend from the colony. They will rid the Naytibas from Earth. I think that's a That's a spelling error. I think that's meant to say they will rid Naytibas from the earth and save us. Mother Sphere's salvation is nigh. I'm thankful I lived through this hell for decades. And it's given us a code to the underground parking lot. That's the other thing, like, it even makes finding codes for different parts of the game to proceed really, really interesting because it adds to the lore of the game. So we'll hint, because I am far too lazy to remember the code. Okay, so I'm pretty sure we're pretty close to the monorail. Next part of Eidos 7. Pretty sure there's a supply camp just after this sequence. Yes, there is. So we'll activate the camp, we'll heal up, we'll spend some skill points. Yeah, the spelling error. I'm pretty sure when I read it the first time last year when I got this game, I had the same reaction. So what we'll do is we will repair the console. So, we've now got a new feature unlocked. We can upgrade the exospine. As you can see, all of the equipment that we've been picking up, so the nano element, the advanced nano element, and the gold, can all be used to upgrade the exospine that we're currently using. My favorite one is probably the stealth one, which decreases the enemy's perception radius and increases your backstab damage. And I'm pretty sure it gives you back some life as well. Followed closely by the red tear stone ring version of the exospine, where you deal more damage, but you take more damage. And as you can see here, I could have upgraded my blood edge quite some time ago. So I'm just going to upgrade that now. So now we've increased it again by another 40 points. So we're dealing about an extra 20% damage now. Okay, so we've got that. And as you can see, the rest icon was green, which means we're going to get a little bit more lore.
Adam, 正直、初めてあなたを見たときは驚いた。
なぜだ。
コロニーではもう地球に誰も残ってないって聞いてたから。
そう思われて当然だな。だが、マザースフィアにだって知らないことはある。
じゃあ、あなたみたいな生き残りが他にも。
ああ、いるにはいるが、数は少ないな。地球で生き抜くのはそう簡単じゃないんだ。
So, we learnt a little bit of interesting lore there. Eve comes from the colony. She is a part of the Airborne Squadron. She dropped onto the planet yesterday from the colony to save humankind from the Naytibas. And Mother Sphere doesn't realize that there are some people still living on the surface. The plot thickens slightly, and I'm pretty sure to the canny viewer you figured out the coincidence between the enemies being called Naytibas. But we'll explore that further as we get further into the game. We've just reached the Northern Peletos monorail, which leads us to probably one of the more poignant monologues of the game. And after we reach the secondary station and the supply camp there, we will finish up for the stream. So we'll stand up here now, and we will head onto the station and another minigame.
着いた。
輸送設備はどこなの？
モノレールの操作盤を使え。
The game's telling us to go there, but if you run down here quickly, I'm pretty sure there is upgrade material. No, the power. So we'll turn on the power.
配列を直して 電力を供給す
I
るんだ。
loved this minigame the first time I played through. Pretty sure. I have forgotten how to do this one. Yep, you get to watch me do math now. Super exciting for sure. You know, it's funny, I was able to do this the last time I tried it. Hooray! Math puzzles. I wasn't good at them at school. I am no better at them now. Give me a riddle over a math puzzle any day. Alright, so we've gotten to the point in the game where I'm about to call it. I'm pretty sure there's an upgrade material down here. Or not. Alright. So, this is probably one of my favorite monologues in the game. It really speaks to how you can find beauty in, like, ruins, because it's like a recollection of the beauty that it once had. I don't know. I really, really enjoyed this monologue coming up. So sit back and enjoy it. And then after this, we will call it. We've just gotten through the first, I want to say, half of EDOS 7. We have run a little bit longer than I was expecting, but I also did start a little bit later tonight. I'm definitely enjoying this. We'll definitely be picking it up again on Wednesday. We'd probably do a bit of a longer stream then as well, in order to work our way through. So let's do this, watch this scene, and then once we get to the supply camp, we will finish up.
こんな大昔の機械で本気で移動する気?
さあ、乗った乗った。
Right. Sorry, let me just...
大丈夫か？
ちょっと昨日のことを思い出してしまって。街が静まり返ってる。すごく寂しい景色。
ああ、人が消えればどんな街でもこうなる。イブ、アルファネイティブを倒した後はどうする気なんだ？
私たち空挺部隊兵の存在理由はただ一つ。与えられた任務を遂行するだけ。
確か全てのネイティブを駆逐することだったか。異なる種族を根絶やしにすることが存在理由とは虚しいものだな。
Alright, so we are back to this sequence now. It's interesting because it very much explains that she's an android. She has instructions that she has to follow. And she doesn't know if she's got a purpose after the defeat of the Naytibas. Now we are here at the train station. So, the first thing we have to do is jump over that side there, but instead, I'm pretty sure if we go down here, there is an upgrade material. So let me just quickly check. The flooded commercial sector, which is the second part of the game. Peletos Plaza.
今は水の下だがな。だが水に入る必要はない。記録保管庫はあっちだ。
For what it's worth, the sequence once you drain Peletos Plaza, it tanks. Just absolutely tanks my frame rate. I'm not sure why. Like, we've been pretty stable the whole playthrough so far. We're at 60 frames. But what we'll do is we'll head over here. We will pick up the first cosmetic upgrade of the game. These little unique cubic sort of chests contain cosmetic upgrades. We've just picked up, yes, a new nanosuit. The nanosuit affects Eve's appearance. You can use collected design patterns and materials to craft nanosuits. Collect a variety of nanosuits and face the fate of this world in style. So, like I said before, it's very similar to Bloodborne and the Dark Souls games and Elden Ring, in which you get different armors and attire. Shift Up really lent into the idea that the whole game can be Fashion Souls, if that's what you want. You can literally upgrade your cosmetics, your nanosuits, to suit the sort of Eve that you want to play as. So, we've just received the Planet Diving Suit 2nd, which as you can see is quite a bit more streamlined. So we'll swap over to that. And what we'll do is, as we play through, every cosmetic that we unlock, we'll play around with it for a bit, just to properly appreciate the game. Alright, so we've just got to the next supply camp. Pretty sure there is a dialogue sequence. Right, we'll quickly pay for some skills. We have 3 SP. So the first thing I want to do is grab the double dodge ability and probably the repulse ability, because we're going to start encountering enemies that require repulse. And as you can see, there are skill upgrades where you can get things like threat detection, which makes it easier to blink, and repulse. So what we'll do is we'll pick up repulse because we will need it. Repulse is kind of the opposite of blink. Instead of a blue circle, you get a faint purple circle. When an enemy glows purple and attempts a fatal attack, use repulse to counter it. If the enemy is within the skill's range, Eve's sword will glow the same color. Press down and B when Eve's sword glows to push the enemy back and retreat to a safe distance. Your ranged attack power will increase for a short duration. So the idea is you create a bit of space, and then when we finally unlock a ranged attack, you get a boosted ability to it. And when the enemy glows yellow, as it says here, a successful repulse will reveal the enemy's weakness for a short duration. Aim for the weakness with a ranged attack for additional damage. And that's what that does. And then the idea is you're meant to be able to shoot it. That's it. Pretty cool. So we'll finish up the training. We'll rest up here and save. And that's it. We will call it now in the flooded commercial sector, because this map is really quite large, and despite my initial statement, I am probably going to want 100% every single part of this game, which means we're in for a long one. So let me hit that there. Transfer back to here. Alright, so thank you so much for coming and joining me on the stream. I had a lot of fun playing this game. Because this is clearly going to be 100% playthrough, this playthrough is probably going to have quite a lot of episodes. And extended streams at that as well. Because I really do want to dive deep into the Stellar Blade lore so that I can enjoy and experience the game the way it's meant to be played. So, without further ado, I think we'll probably call it there. If you haven't yet, throw a like and subscribe in the chat, not in the chat, on the channel. Coming up, we'll be returning to Stellar Blade on Wednesday at 6 p.m. For probably a 3 to 4 hour stream, and we'll try and finish Eidos 7 then. Coming up though as well, we also have another podcast coming up for the Dragon's Lair, which is my podcast channel, which can also be found on Spotify and Amazon Music. The next podcast, we will be heading to the anime sphere and exploring Vegeta, Prince of all Saiyans. We'll be exploring how Toriyama's most hated character has become a fan favorite and the struggles that Toriyama had to give him a redemption arc. Maybe he didn't have a choice. Maybe the pure popularity of the Saiyan Prince was currently keeping Jump afloat during that time, which meant Toriyama couldn't actually kill the character off. Instead, he had to develop him as a rival to the character of Goku. But we'll explore that more coming up in the next podcast, which should drop next Friday. Good Friday, if I remember correctly. Vegeta is also one of my favorite characters, so I may be a little bit biased when it comes to my exploration of said character. Either way, we'll get there when we get there. Until then, meet me next Wednesday for the next episode of Stellar Blade, and hopefully the end of the Eidos 7 sequence. We should have the Gygus boss to fight, and the Corruptor mini-boss to fight. So, until then, I will see you on Wednesday. Hope you've all enjoyed the stream, stay shiny, and I'll see you all next time.